Trucking is one of the most essential industries in the world, and the drivers who keep it moving are the unsung heroes of our economy. Whether you're delivering goods across the country, hauling materials to construction sites, or transporting vital supplies to remote areas, trucking is a challenging and rewarding profession. When it comes to choosing a career in trucking, there are two main paths to consider. You could become an owner-operator or a company driver. At first glance, it may seem like it doesn't really matter which one of the two you choose. After all, the day-to-day tasks you'll perform are largely the same: loading and unloading freight and driving your truck on the open road. But behind the scenes, there are many differences between the two that can affect your career. In this video, we'll explore the pros and cons of each option so you can make an informed decision and find the right fit for your needs and goals. So buckle up, shift into gear, and let's hit the road. First, let's take a look at what the two career paths entail. An owner-operator is an independent business person who owns or leases a truck and contracts with either shippers or freight brokers or both to haul cargo. They are independent contractors who own and operate their own trucks. They are responsible for all the costs associated with their truck, including maintenance, fuel, and insurance. Owner-operators also handle their own dispatch, billing, and accounting. They have more control over their schedules and routes, and they often earn more money per mile than company drivers. However, they also bear all the risks of running a business as every other business owner does, and it requires a great deal of commitment, hard work, and financial stability. Being an owner-operator in the trucking industry comes with its own set of unique advantages and disadvantages. On one hand, as an independent contractor, you have a greater degree of control over your work. You can choose the routes and schedules that work best for you and your business, and you have the flexibility to adjust your operations as needed. This allows you to take advantage of high-paying loads and opportunities as they become available, potentially leading to higher earnings. In addition, as stated before, as an owner-operator, you have the potential to earn more money per mile compared to company drivers. This is because you receive a greater portion of the revenue generated by your truck since you are responsible for all the costs associated with operating it. You also have the potential to increase your earnings by growing your business and acquiring additional trucks. However, there are also several disadvantages to consider when it comes to being an owner-operator. The first and most obvious is the cost of ownership. You are responsible for purchasing and maintaining your own truck, which can be a significant upfront investment. You must also manage your own dispatch, billing, and accounting, which can be time-consuming and challenging for those without the necessary experience. In addition, being an owner-operator also means that you bear all the risks of running a business, such as fluctuations in demand, changes in fuel prices, and the cost of maintenance. You may also face difficulties securing consistent loads, especially if you are just starting out or if demand for your services decreases. Finally, being an owner-operator can also be isolating, as you are often on the road for extended periods of time and may not have the support of a team or colleagues. Nevertheless, if this is the path you want to tread, there are three basic types of owner-operators you could be. 1. Lease operators. As a lease operator, you'll lease your truck from an established trucking company and then haul loads for that company. This is an in-between space that's not quite a company driver and not quite an owner-operator, and some drivers are uncomfortable with their employer also serving as their lender. On the upside, it can be a way to quickly get into a truck and start moving. 2. Lease purchase. In a lease purchase setup, you'll lease your truck from a third party and then sign a contract to haul goods for a trucking company. It gives you more independence than a lease operator setup because you have regularly assigned loads. 3. Self-employed independent contractors. In this scenario, you secure your truck on your own and then contract for individual loads. It gives you the most freedom to choose the loads and routes you want. But it also makes you fully responsible for your business operations, including finding and booking each load. Alright, that said, let's now find out about your other option, being a company driver. A company driver is an employee of a trucking company. Company drivers typically have a set schedule and are dispatched by the company. They do not have the same level of control over their routes and schedules as owner-operators, but they also do not have to bear the same risks. Being a company driver in the trucking industry provides a different set of advantages and disadvantages compared to being an owner-operator. As an employee of a trucking company, you receive a steady paycheck and benefits such as health insurance, retirement plans, and paid time off. This can provide a sense of financial stability and security, especially for those who prefer a more predictable work schedule. In addition, as a company driver, you do not have to worry about the costs associated with owning and operating a truck. The company provides you with a truck and covers all expenses, including maintenance, fuel, and insurance. This can be a significant relief for those who do not have the financial means or experience to manage these expenses on their own. Another advantage of being a company driver is the support and resources provided by the trucking company. You have a team of dispatchers, maintenance staff, and administrative personnel who are available to assist you with any questions or concerns you may have. This can be especially helpful for those who are just starting out in the trucking industry and need guidance and support along the way. However, being a company driver also has its disadvantages. One of the biggest is a lack of control over your work schedule and routes. As an employee, you are dispatched by the company and typically have a set schedule. This means that you may not be able to take advantage of high-paying loads or choose the routes that you prefer. Additionally, you may be required to work long hours, weekends, and holidays, which can be challenging for those with family or personal commitments. Another disadvantage of being a company driver is that you may not have the same earning potential as an owner-operator. While you receive a steady paycheck, you do not receive a portion of the revenue generated by your truck, as you do not own the vehicle. Additionally, you may not have the same opportunities to grow your business or increase your earnings as you would if you were an owner-operator. Of course, everyone is different. There are definitely other factors to consider. For instance, you may need to consider your own needs and those of your family when deciding whether to become an owner-operator or a company driver. These other factors to think about include driving experience. If you're a new truck driver, gaining experience as a company driver can be beneficial. Working for a carrier can provide you with a better understanding of the industry and valuable lessons to learn along the way. Many carriers are protective of their drivers and equipment, making it less likely for you to be given challenging or complicated loads. Entrepreneurial spirit. If you're passionate about driving, it's important to also consider if you have an entrepreneurial spirit. Running an owner-operator requires a significant amount of time and effort to manage business. On the other hand, as a company driver, you can focus solely on driving. Personal finances. Although the startup costs of becoming an owner-operator are relatively low, especially if you lease your truck, you need to have a strong credit score and a financial cushion. Your expenses will start immediately, but it may take some time to establish a steady income. Personal health. Your personal health should be taken into consideration when making your decision. If you have a medical emergency on the road, someone will need to take care of your truck and load. As a company driver, the company will send someone to take over. However, as an owner-operator, finding a replacement can be challenging, especially if you don't have a network of fellow drivers. Health insurance may also be more affordable through an employer, although this may not be true if you qualify for subsidies through the national exchange. Family life. Company drivers are often expected to work long hours and spend considerable time away from home, although some carriers have taken steps to reduce time away from home. As an owner-operator, you have more control over your schedule and can choose a 7-day on/7-day off schedule or a position that guarantees weekends at home. Type of freight. The type of freight you prefer to haul should also be considered. If you prefer hauling heavy cargo such as fluid loads, working for a company might be a better choice. These loads are tough on trailers, so if you choose to take them as an owner-operator, ensure that both your equipment and insurance are up to the challenge. Bottom line, whether you prefer the freedom and independence of being your own boss or the stability and benefits of working for a company, trucking offers a rewarding and challenging career for those who have the drive and determination to succeed. So, don't let the road ahead intimidate you, embrace it with open arms and pave your own path to success. Until next time, happy trucking!